Yes, sir. Good to see you.
Good to meet you, dude. Good to see you. I met you briefly, and I was so like couldn't even believe your story. So I wanted to talk to you.
Yeah, it's intense.
So tell people your name.
So Jon Mellis. I'm from the East Coast.
And you're an original J6er.
Yeah, January 6th, man. Yeah.
Pull that a little closer like this, John.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little lower.
Enough? Oh.
So
Yeah.
explain what happened.
Oh, yeah.
You just got out of jail.
Well, I had gotten out of jail 3.5 years earlier. Turned my life around. What do you mean? Right now?
With January 6th.
Oh, January 6th. Yeah. So January 6th, had gotten out of jail and pardoned by Trump. Spent 4 years in there, 3 in the D.C. jail, 1 in federal prison. And let me tell you that the D.C. jail was years of solitary confinement, years denied visitation. The guards were abusive. They would pop the door in the middle of the night and beat guys, zip tie our arms and legs and beat us within an inch of our life. Yeah, always under the threat of that. Denied food for punishment, black mold, brown water. We dealt with all the
Wait, when
it was
were
torture for years.
What, so you take me through this slowly. So you go to you were in jail for 10 years before that, and you had a drug charge. But let's forget.
Yeah. First drug charge for felony when I was 21.
What was the charge for?
I was manufacturing methamphetamine. I did 10 years straight on it. I read hundreds of history books, turned my life around. I mean,
Let's go
educated
slow.
myself.
Why did you start manufacturing meth?
I was kind of a hippie growing up. I still am kind of a hippie. I was obsessed with chemistry. So through high school, I was growing mushrooms, and I was always obsessed with chemistry kind of thing.
And how did you get involved with? Where did you grow up?
In Virginia.
And so you literally started selling.
Yeah, I started selling drugs in college, But
you made your own meth.
So I met a guy who was 38 years old. I was 21, and he had been cooking for 13 years, and I liked chemistry, so I thought that was a stupid decision I made, but I thought it was a good idea.
Walter White did it.
Yeah, it was weird watching that show come out. There was a lot of parallels. Older guy, younger guy.
You were the Jesse character.
Yeah, I was the Jesse character, I guess. Yeah. Wow. But so went on for a little bit. Got busted. Got sentenced to 20 years with 10 suspended.
Slow for a second. How much money did you make?
It comes faster than you'd think, but I'd rather not get into that.
Okay. But you were making money, and then how did you get busted?
My pregnant fiance turned us in. Yeah, so that was fun. So I had
always someone you know.
Yeah. So I had a son. I have a son. He's 17 years old now. He graduated high school early. Actually, he's a really good kid.
Okay.
But I served 10 years for that. My whole 20s were gone. I turned my life around pretty early on.
Why did 20 become 10?
Because my 20s, 21 to almost 31 years
old.
No,
but you're supposed to do 20 years.
Yes, suspended. 10 suspended.
What does that mean?
So 10 gets held over my head. I get off probation, do all the things, or else I can get that 10 back.
No, take me through it because I'm stupid. So you get a 20-year sentence.
10 suspended.
10 suspended means that
they'll hold it for another date if I screw up.
So do you still have that over your head?
Yeah, technically, yeah. For life, which is another story too.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
So but they said you're going to serve 10 hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you didn't get out early?
I got 9. I served 9 in 9 months. Now, your audience might not know when you're 21 years old and you're, of my complexion and you go to prison in Virginia, you get tested and you got to fight. So I ended up fighting a bit, gotten a lot of fights.
What are you?
Level ends up going up and I lost. You lose good times for that. So really I did 9 years and 9 months on that 10. It's hard to get your good time.
Are you not white?
Yeah, I'm white, man.
But what are you saying, your complexion?
Yeah, my complexion, anything but black. Yeah.
So you're saying the brothers.
You when you're white and you're 21 years old and you go into prison, it's tough to not get tested, especially when you're younger.
Tested meaning fucking.
Yeah, they're gonna try to cut you in line and see if you stand up for yourself, stuff like that. Me, I always stood up for myself, so I always fought. So I fought a lot.
So they tried to punk you.
Yeah, so I fight. and then my level goes up because I'm willing to knock somebody out.
Your level meaning your level.
Security level.
So you're in jail.
Mm-hmm.
You're minding your business. You're a smart guy, but you're tough. But were you a fighter growing up?
Yeah, I was a bit of a scrapper, yeah.
So you're definitely a scrapper, I can tell.
Yeah.
And so you go in there and somebody chumps you for your phone time.
Tries to cut you in line or something, and they want to see how you react.
And so then you have to do what?
You stand up to get your spot back, and as soon as you stand up, you've got 5 other guys in that gang surround you. So now you're not just going to fight a guy, you're going to get jumped.
Black?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay. I mean, you know.
Well, yeah, no, I mean.
But there's everybody in prison.
Yeah, there's everybody in prison, but anybody who's been to prison may understand there's a bit of politics, racial politics in prison that none of us asked to be put into. You just kind of, it is the way it is. The white guys kind of gravitate toward the white guys.
Where are the Latinos?
They usually gravitate toward each other, and there's different gangs, so I guess they also break off in different gangs.
So you stop somebody in line. If they stop you, you fight. 4 other guys jump, and they beat you.
Sure.
And then you're fighting everybody, and then you have to get time for that?
Yeah, well, yeah. Every time you get in a fight, if you get caught, everybody goes to the hole, you go to the hole or whatever, and every time you're involved in that, you have to deal with that, so.
This is a state prison. This is not a light prison.
Virginia. No, Virginia, I started off at lower levels, but like I said, your level keeps going up with the more incidents you have. And it's hard to stay out of incidents when you're young and you're white.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just the way it is, So it's hard to get you good time when you're in that situation.
So you did almost 10 years. And in the jail you did what?
Well, I read hundreds of history books, worked out for 10 years, read dozens of college textbooks, word for word, cover to cover. My dad was also worked for the military, worked for the government, so he would send me international reports and different think tank reports and annual reports for the IMF, the G20, whatever organizations internationally, and I would read them, devour them. And
how does it so when you get in prison, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
How does a typical day, after you're in there, let's say for 3 months, how does a typical day go?
Well, it's very different. The 10 years that I did and the 4 years that I did for January 6th is totally different. So
let's go to the early bit.
Yeah, the 10 years was, you wake up and you're pretty much, depending on what level facility you're in, if you're in a lower level, you get out of your cell and you kind of hang out in the pod, go to breakfast. There's account times at certain times of the,
what does that mean?
So you got to go back to your cell and stand up for count, and the guards walk by and count everybody, in the morning, in the middle of the day, and in the afternoon and at night. So there's several count times. But most of the time in a lower level, you're out in the pod. You're able to hang out. You get a little bit more outside rec. In the higher security levels, you're locked down a lot more.
So in the lower level, meaning you're doing rec, you're in the yard, you can play in dominoes?
Yeah, dominoes.
Basketball?
Yeah, there's basketball.
Baseball?
Yeah, softball, stuff like that. Baseball.
Working out in the yard?
Yeah.
How much time can you get in the yard?
I mean, you get out of your cell pretty much all day from, I don't know, probably about, early in the morning, but breakfast, 7 o'clock to about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. You get locked down sometimes.
That's 14 hours.
Yeah, that's a lower level facility. Yeah.
You can be in the yard for 14 hours.
Well, you'll get yard time for half the day. So I guess
what's the other half?
Maybe 5 hours of yard time outside time.
And where's the rest of the time
in the pod? Playing
the
dominoes and spades and all that stuff. You got your tables and stuff. So.
That's inside.
Inside rec.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a typical day in that kind of a situation.
And what do? You're just constantly looking over your shoulder.
Well, yeah, there's a level of that. Once you prove yourself, a couple times, you're fine. People stop messing with you, but you keep a schedule, man. Really, I like to keep a schedule, workout schedule every week, and then a reading schedule. Like also watch the news and try to.
So you have TV.
Yeah, in the state prison for the 10, there we were able to get a 13-inch TV to keep in our cell. So. Yeah, we could watch local stations and stuff on our TV in our cell.
And you had a cellie.
Yeah, in the state, in the Virginia state. In the feds, it's totally different, but yeah, in the state. Yeah.
Feds are better.
No, feds
are worse.
Feds are different. You don't get a TV in your cell. Yeah, honestly, I thought that was, some people think the Fed's better than the state, but in my opinion, I mean, the state, you get that 13-inch TV in your cell, and really, I stay to myself. I read, I work out. I got my own schedule, so I just leave. I'm just.
So
I'm
you
just out
mind
of
your
the
own
weeds.
business, and
Yeah.
you did tons of work
Yeah.
in history, and you got really smart, like
Yeah.
Malcolm X. You read?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Malcolm X just
Absolutely.
changed
No,
himself in
absolutely.
prison,
Yeah.
and so.
A lot of people really, yeah.
Yeah, because it's crazy. I was telling you this last night when I met you briefly, and he started telling me his story. I'm like, don't say another word. Just come to my pod. And so it's crazy. I know more people that went to prison than I can't believe I do. Like I know at least 5 people that have gone to prison at different levels, like 2 to 8 years, and they tell me, honestly, every one of them is, I don't know you, but I'm thinking you're reformed, are completely straighter than an arrow. They they don't even jaywalk.
Yeah.
So it really did change them in the best way. And some of them own businesses.
Absolutely.
And, but none of them were, which I don't feel like you are enough about you yet, but weren't like violent, malicious criminals. They were just like selling, trying to make money, get ahead in the system, and they got busted.
Yeah.
From drugs and different shit.
Yeah.
And so it works when it works. And like everyone I know that was like you telling me this, they have to keep a schedule or you lose your mind, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't do time. You don't let time do you. You do the time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you did this and you got out when you were 31,
something like that. Yeah, almost 31. Yeah.
And then you had a little life.
Yeah, 3.5 years of building a great life in Nashville, Tennessee. I was bartending and serving downtown. I was doing different things.
Hard to get a job?
No, it was really easy to get a job, and I had a great time. I actually built up a pretty good life out there. I had lived in one of the nicest neighborhoods in suburban Nashville by the time COVID came around, and had a sports car, had my things going on. I had a bunch of money saved. Actually, was odd for me to say, but my dream was to save my money, which I was, and go to Butler School in the Netherlands and work 5-star, travel the world. I always wanted to serve people and actually be a part of that and work 5-star, travel the world. I mean,
wow,
a great way to live. Yeah.
By the way, you're right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a crazy story. Okay.
Yeah.
So you go there, so my buddy couldn't get a job. He had to go lower level jobs. But when you were a bartender, did they ask your history or no?
No, man. No. They didn't ask my history too much, and and they don't mind in the restaurant industry. And it's
so you were a bartender.
Yeah.
So you got up and bartender, making good money in Nashville. So you were having fun.
Yeah,
chicks, everything.
Yeah, hanging out. Yeah.
So you're doing that.
Yeah. COVID hits eventually.
COVID hits. What happens?
Well, COVID hits, and I lose my job in the restaurant industry. So I travel the country hiking. So I went backcountry, all the different national forests, national wilderness areas, BLM territories, Bureau of Land Management, the original BLM, Bureau of Land Management territories. And you hike these backcountry. That's what I would do solo. So I did that for a few months in the summer during COVID when everybody went into the twilight zone and was, when we were freaking out. I just got off the grid, man, and I traveled the country, went everywhere. Went South Dakota, California, Oregon, Nevada.
That's
Colorado.
a good time to do that.
Oh, it was beautiful. I honestly, after the 10 years in prison, I feel like that was where I finally got settled spiritually and found myself those few months in the summer of 2020. It was actually a blessing. I had dreamt about doing something like that my whole life. So,
side note, how long's the Butler School?
It's 10 weeks. It's 10 weeks. You live there. It's residential.
How do you get accepted to that?
I mean, you got to go through the process. Admissions.
They have to
stuff.
accept you.
Yeah, they have to accept you, and they have corporate contracts. They place you in different things. I mean, I think the plans have kind of changed at this point. But yeah, that was my goal at that time. I went to bartending school. I was taking ballroom dancing classes just for fun, and dumped a bunch of money into that, just kind of see how it goes. And I was saving money to go to Butler School.
Okay, so stay with me. So, at some point, when did you go to January 6th and why?
So,
were you political at this point?
well, so when I got out I spent 3.5 years out before I got arrested for J6. During that time, I threw myself full long into volunteering, whether it was the local senior citizen center. I was working, giving like 20, 30 hours a week to them a week, donating. And I was doing work at the Ronald McDonald House, the Youth Special Olympics. And I threw myself into volunteer work. At the end of the year of COVID, I started getting more politically active, joined the local GOP, started attending local GOP meetings because I saw what was going on in the election. Fun fact for your audience, I was actually a Bernie bro in 2016. I actually supported Hillary. I wasn't a Trump supporter until 2018. We call that being red-pilled. I wasn't red-pilled until 2018.
So did you vote for Hillary?
Well, I was locked up, but I supported her. I was total
in
Democrat.
Jail?
Yeah, in prison. I didn't get out until late 2017.
A prisoner's not allowed to vote ever?
Sometimes. I think Virginia now does it.
Are you allowed to vote now?
I think so. Yeah.
But you're not allowed to vote in prison.
Yeah, you can vote in prison, but it just depends on the state. So I think Virginia did pass a law where felons
Everyone's
can now
voting
vote.
for like empty prisons in prison.
Yeah,
but wait, what's crazy is they would there's a whole argument as if you're allowed illegally to vote. Like if you're a legal alien, but yet. Okay.
Well, I mean, I guess that would be relevant, in a national election. I mean, if it's a national election, like president.
So wait, you are a Bernie bro, and then how does that go to Hillary?
So, of course, I felt jilted when they jilted Bernie, the way the system did with the superdelegates and the way the Democratic Party kind of pushed him out and took Hillary. But I was a Democrat, so I felt like, okay, well, we need to get behind our candidate. She's the professional, qualified, been to D.C. for decades kind of thing. She knows how it runs. So I fell into that. But, once I was red-pilled in 2018, you start to realize that those exact reasons why I went for her, because she was in D.C. so long and she was an insider and she knew how things work, are the exact reason why I don't support her now. Or any candidate, any career politician, or someone who's been around.
And
DC
so when did you change?
2018. It was a lot of. Started getting a Jordan Peterson. I like Jordan Peterson. He's one of my heroes. But started watching him fight against Bill C-16 in Canada, and he just made so much sense, and he's so logical, and he uses reason. and then the Trump press conferences. I had the ability now that I was out of prison to just watch his press conferences. Long form.
When did you get out?
In late 2017.
Okay.
So they would say, a headline would say, Trump rants and raves or says something, racist or mean at a press conference. So I would just watch the whole press conference. And I would realize that he didn't say anything wrong and that they were actually attacking him. The media would come out, try to get you gotcha questions. Every single question was a gotcha question. And he was just shooting back at him. And he was actually kind of funny. That was the first thing I noticed. Mm-hmm. He's actually really funny.
Hilarious.
Yeah. He was more of a comedian behind the podium than like a president. You would think of like a traditional presidential.
100%.
He's so funny. And then he just started to win me over. He's like, wow, because comedy is a weird thing. It's only funny if it's true. It's if you're lying or if it's fake, it's not funny. It's got to be authentic. It's got to be real. And
100%.
And he's that way. So he started winning me over, and then yeah.
So wait, in prison, did you have to align yourself or affiliate yourself with a gang?
No, and I wouldn't. No.
You didn't.
No, never did.
How did you go solo like that?
You just do.
As a white boy in prison in West Virginia, you were in West Virginia. Your whole bid was in West Virginia.
No, regular Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you do. You do get pressured. I mean, there is, some guys fall into that kind of thing, but I'm not that. That's what was.
You said everybody was affiliated with different gangs.
Like
groups.
Yeah, like the racial groups. Like the blacks would kind of like be in their section, but they'd be also sectioned off into their different gangs. The Mexicans or the Latinos would be sectioned off, but they'd also have like Sureños and MS-13 and different, so they got different groups. The white guys they're kind of like, I guess, like the different groups within the white guys, it doesn't matter. They kind of everybody just kind of united, I guess. I don't know.
So you started getting political.
Mm.
Now, should we go full disclosure now or just naturally? When did you decide to be? So you're a Proud Boy?
Yes, I am a Proud Boy. Uhuru.
I don't know if you can do that.
Well, so I would love to get into any questions you have about anything
I do
or say.
because there's two things you said. So
Yeah.
I said red pilled once,
Yeah.
which came from the Matrix.
Yeah.
Blue pill, red pill. The blue pill is you keep living the lie, and red pill is you really want to see what the world's about.
Yeah.
Somehow, either you guys or Pepe the Frog or anti-Semites, I don't know, everything that's they consider bad, white nationalism, all this stuff, Nazis, they did the red pill, and they said, I said that, and I was like considered racist. I'm like, it's the Matrix. So then I heard you guys co-opt it. But that is the red pill for you just literally saying knowledge?
Yeah, I mean, the red pill is for anybody. I mean, the red pill, like Joe Rogan was red pilled, Elon Musk red pilled. I mean, when you take the red pill, you realize that the entire system, the mainstream media, it's all lies. It's all lies. They're trying to feed you a narrative and have everybody living in a matrix. But when you wake up to that, when you realize that, Donald Trump's actually the good guy, and there's a reason why they loved him for decades. Oprah loved him for decades. Everybody loved him. Hollywood, he was a Hollywood darling for decades. But as soon as he ran for president, he's this Nazi Hitler guy that's the worst thing ever. And it just doesn't make any sense. And they always lie about everything he says. They twist it. They take it out of context. It's all lies. And if people would just research a little bit, they would be red-pilled, yeah.
Why did they stop? So my question is, different wing, same bird.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, before I go back into this, is Trump part of the same bird, or is he actual independent?
You mean the two-party system?
Yeah.
He's a different. That's what I like to tell people is that, I don't like the Republican Party either. I don't like either one. Democrat and Republican, they're both corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
It's these both of these establishments are just based on donations and favors and special interests. It's this whole industry, both sides, two heads of the same snake. Trump and the MAGA movement stole the Republican Party. We're hijacking it right now as it is, and it's, MAGA is different. MAGA is more, the way I describe it, is libertarian, more leaning libertarian, where it's socially liberal, fiscally conservative. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're a color. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's all about freedom, maximum freedom for maximum people. If you're an adult and you want to cut your dick off, I don't care. Do it. I don't care. Live your best life. Just leave the kids alone. That's all I ask. That's all we ask. That's all we want. I think everybody can agree on that. Mm-hmm. Just leave the kids alone. Let's just teach the kids writing and arithmetic. Let's not teach them all the sexual stuff. Let's wait till the, later for that. But freedom. I love freedom. And I don't think that anybody can disagree with that. Freedom of speech, freedom,
I mean, you're making complete sense.
There's only two sides now. It's either crazy or common sense. It's not right, left.
It's also good and evil.
Good and evil, exactly. Common sense and evil. I mean, you got someone like Tim Pool or Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is a very socially conservative personal opinion. His personal opinions are more socially conservative. He's Christian conservative. When you got Tim Pool, who I think is a little more pro-choice, a little more but they're both on the common sense side. We have such intellectual diversity on our side. And there's a lot of disagreements on the MAGA side. That's what's amazing about it. It's beautiful. It's because we have great debates on the MAGA side where, people who are more, more Christian or more loosey-goosey, people have fun.
But so hold on, when you say,
but on the left in the, mostly the Democrat Party, but on the left in the system, people who are in the matrix, you have to be, you have to believe 100% ideologically rigid, a philosophy. Like you have to be pro-choice. You have to be a feminist, a male feminist. You have to believe that men can become women and men can become pregnant or whatever it is.
That's new though.
They do the birthing people's day instead of Mother's Day. I mean, the PC culture has gotten out of hand. And and then the attack on men, the attack on masculinity. I mean, they've gone too far crazy because we need healthy masculinity. We need men in society. And that's what, and bring back to the Proud Boys. That's what we are we are a reaction to that attack on masculinity.
And I want to ask you two questions. So how did if Trump was would you agree that Trump was part of the Matrix?
Yeah, they say he's a class traitor.
And then how did he why did he run? And then when did they turn on him?
He ran, I believe, because he was part of the Matrix, but he was up there. He knew how these billionaires are thinking about us, how they talk about us, the little guys. And he ran to save us. He saw what they were doing to us, that they were going to take control, that the communists, the authoritarians, the government control was about to completely control everything. I mean, what, could you imagine? We almost had Romney. We had Romney as a Republican nominee, and like now you look at Romney and you're like, man, that guy is an evil part of the Matrix. He wants us living in some kind. He's part of the system.
I don't even know enough, but so you're saying the MAGA movement, is not even. It's completely a separate thing. It's not Republican or anything.
No.
And you are saying this is a good take.
Yeah.
MAGA is libertarian.
More, it leans libertarian. Yeah, there is a libertarian party, but
what is libertarian exactly?
Fiscally conservative and socially liberal. So socially
I
liberal.
would say I'm there.
Yeah, and then there's small government, man. Small government. Like the government doesn't have to do all the things it's doing, lock up all the people that it's locking up. It doesn't have to be so heavy-handed with everything it's doing to the people. You know, the states can deal with
do what you want in your private life, with as long as it's legal.
Yeah.
Keep my money, you make your money.
Yeah.
And just don't have so much government.
And legalize a lot more things, man. I mean, like
for instance.
Well, like weed, of course. I mean, is one of those things.
California.
I lean towards decriminalization of a lot of things, like psychedelics, things like that. But like if there's no victim to the crime, then it shouldn't be a crime, right?
It's a good take. I
mean, like if two consenting adults agree to a situation, then that's what it is. Why is there a crime there?
Yes.
So more. That's why I mean by more libertarian. It's kind of, maximum freedom for maximum people.
That sounds like probably what I am, because I never know what I am. I always said I was the independent, but that sounds actually kind of what I am.
Yeah.
But there's stuff that Republicans say that I actually really like, and there's stuff that Democrats say that I like. It's just the extremes.
Exactly.
So,
well, the thing that's a problem is the Democrat National Committee or the Republican National Committee, those actual like entities that are generating the power. It's not about the Republicans that say things that we agree with. Yeah, they may say great things we agree with. Democrats say great. We can agree with these. It's those party structures that are the corrupt, rotten things that are controlling the candidates when they're in power, the politicians, and it's taking in the money from the special interests, the military industrial complex, big pharma. I mean, this big money. I mean, different entities.
I got to ask you, because you go off, there's a lot of good stuff you're saying, but I'm going to go back. So you're doing this. Now, you can't see, when you did the OK sign, when I was growing up, this thing was called OK.
Yeah.
Then it became asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's sad is I'm not even doing it. But it's like this was okay. It was in a movie.
Yeah.
In Beverly Hills Cop, and everybody did that in the 80s. Okay.
Yeah.
Then it was asshole, and then it was some sort of game where you go
made you look.
Yeah,
made you look. And
then
if you look at it, I get to punch you in the arm.
Yes.
If you break the circle, you get to punch me in the arm.
Okay, and then there was something with the Illuminati. I'm serious.
I think that's been around.
And then you guys, but now apparently we can't go like this because it's racist.
Yep. So this is the thing.
So what is that?
And then I want
to ask how you got involved.
This is why I like to do it too, because
you went hard in a picture and I said, don't do that.
Yeah.
Stop doing it.
So it's, because they tell us it means something that it doesn't. It means white supremacy. It means something hateful. It's not what it means. So that's my middle finger. Is that's not what that means. And you can't stop me from doing. I'm going to do it more because you told me not to do it.
You don't like being in control.
Because it's not what it means. So I don't care what they want to take anything that we do, anything that conservatives or white people or anything, and make it into a hate symbol or a whatever.
This is you going.
There has been an attack.
This is you saying F the system, F the people that are trying to tell me.
This is exactly the same as this.
Yes.
To me.
And so what does it mean in the Proud Boys?
Well, it's just a symbol we throw up. I mean, the way the West is the best.
What does that
there's
mean?
Also, So the Proud Boys are pretty simple group to explain.
How did you get involved with them?
Because I was locked up with the Seditious Five and other Proud Boys for January 6th.
This was after January 6th. Okay.
Yeah. So 10 years.
Let's get to this. So how did you get involved? So you started getting more in politics.
Yeah. So in
2018,
living in Nashville,
doing that stuff,
traveled the country hiking, and then during COVID, and at the end of that year, I started getting involved in the local Republican Party, joined several committees because I saw how they were censoring Trump during the election. I saw how they messed with the election during the election day. Whether you want to say there was election fraud or not in 2020, it doesn't matter. The censorship alone during election season swung that election. I mean, they hid the Hunter Biden laptop. They censored it offline. It wasn't even about that. That's not the controversy. The real controversy was the corruption, the 10% going to the big guy from the Ukrainian businessman and the Chinese connections. So you have these text messages of him interacting with international business people and political people, and they're kicking back money to his dad.
100% Tony Bobulinski.
Tony Bobulinski, yeah, exactly. And it
looked pretty clear to me.
And he had a press conference right before I believe it was the second debate, literally right before it, and he turned over his electronics right there in that press conference of the Biden corruption. And the media just didn't even cover it. Mm-hmm. They just completely ignored that whole press conference. And you see how, it's just so crazy, because if there was a press conference against Trump, or I love to bring this one up, because David Duke, some kind of crazy whack job KKK guy.
He was an original KKK.
Yeah, some crazy guy, whatever.
You don't know who that is? He was a Ku Klux Klan high up guy.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with Trump. But apparently...
He liked Trump.
He liked Trump from afar, and the media jumped on that and said Trump loves David Duke. And Trump doesn't know the guy, never met the guy. And he said, all right, I denounce. I don't fucking like the guy. I don't know who he is. Mm-hmm. I don't want his endorsement. I don't care. Mm-hmm. But, Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton all were best friends with Senator Robert Byrd from West Virginia, who was the Grand Wizard of the KKK. So is
that known fact?
Yes, 1,000%.
That's a known fact.
1,000%. There's pictures of them holding it. They all eulogized the man, used their official podiums to say he was my best friend and he was a great man. Senator Robert Byrd from West Virginia, Grand Wizard of the KKK, was a mentor. They called him their mentor. So the hypocrisy is so crazy when you see the truth. That Donald Trump is good friends with Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali and gets awards.
What's wrong with that?
Gets awards. What I'm saying is he gets awards with Rosa Parks and Jesse Jackson gives him an award, and he helps Nelson Mandela, and he's a great guy. But they try to smear him as a racist. But the whole time, Joe Biden is fighting for segregation, non-busing, and also best friends with Robert Byrd, the KKK Grand Wizard. And they're open about it. They flash it in your face.
So as a person who is who you are, from Virginia, and a scrapper, and dealt drugs, and was in jail, but a thinker, and being oppressed within the system, getting jumped and having to fight and all this shit, and the fucking thumb on you all fucking life, you're gonna fucking explode because you're not a bitch. Yeah. And so then when you see hypocrisy, you fucking lose your mind.
Yeah.
So I don't have your history, but it's like I've already been born crazy, and then the Catholic Church and my school system, so they would do this, and that's why I went, no, it's not like what you went through, but you don't like being told what the fuck to do.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm catching from
you. I feel like I always say that I have a special diamond-encrusted middle finger in my spirit. And my life has brought me that, through what you said, and I was born Catholic too,
Yeah, so it's just
always told rigid what to do.
It's just like you waiting for your spot on stage as a comedian, and you get bumped, and you're like, I waited, I signed up, it's been 3 hours, and you keep getting bumped, and you're like, it's my turn, and you just want fairness.
Just want fairness.
Okay, how did you get involved? You're doing this. I need to know when you decided to go to January 6th and what you expected that day.
So I decided to go to January 6th to support the president on the way out. I also was seeing a girl up in Northern Virginia, so we were going to
So
go.
someone asked you to go.
No, I asked her to go. So yeah, I was going to go. I was getting more involved, and I went to. There was 3 rallies, one in November, one in December, and one in January 6th, all in D.C. Trump rallies, and I went to all 3 of them. And January 6th was, I spent New Year's in Nashville. And then I drove to Kentucky and hiked in the wilderness in the Daniel Boone National Forest for a couple of days. And then I went on my way to January 6th. I get to D.C. on the 5th, and then the rally's the next day. So I get there, and I got to tell your audience, first of all, it's a giant building. We all saw the speeches at the Ellipse over by the White House, and then we walked over to the Capitol building. Capitol building's giant. And we were supposed to walk over there. There were speeches scheduled. There were permitted speeches to be had over the Capitol. People wonder why we walked over there. Well, we walked over there because we were supposed to walk over there. You march from the place you're at to the Capitol. That's how those things in D.C. usually work.
And were you guys a march, or were you just there to hear speeches, or were you gathered from a Facebook group to say we want to oppose this election result?
Oh, man, there was over 1 million people there. What do you mean?
But did you go there?
No, I went there solo. I was supposed to.
You didn't go there with any agenda other than to listen to Trump?
Yeah, over to just be at a rally. Nobody went there with an intention to be violent or any kind of this insurrection narrative. Now, I'm telling you, as a Proud Boy who has close personal knowledge of, we call them the seditious
But
five.
you weren't a Proud Boy yet.
Wasn't a Proud Boy yet. I joined while I was with these men. So what we call the seditious 5, the 5 Proud Boys that were charged with seditious conspiracy and given up to 22 years in prison for seditious conspiracy on January 6th. And let me tell you,
I want to get to that, but I want you to take me to this point till you got to this point. So you're at the rally, and what happened?
So we march over to the Capitol. On the east side of the building, the cops let everyone in. Cops popped the doors, let everybody go in. Right?
Why?
They held the doors. I don't know. That's just what they did. You see the footage. You'll see the footage of the cops holding the doors open for a whole crowd of people going in. Well, that's the east side of the building. On the west side
And the official narrative was you guys broke in, correct?
Well, on the west side of the building, we were a little bit more rowdy.
Okay.
So on the west side of the building, we showed up, and you can check this video. I actually have a montage of the police brutality before it got out of hand, because we didn't start the violence. We were piled up against the building, against the bike racks, peacefully protesting. And then the cops started shooting rubber bullets into people's faces. We have people with holes in their face and everything. Yeah, and the videos are pretty clear. If you go to We Are Good Men on Rumble, there's you'll scroll down, you'll see my footage. It says PB on the thumbnail.
Okay, so you're getting shot at with rubber bullets.
Rubber bullets, flashbangs, sting ball grenades, all these explosive devices going off in the crowd. What your audience might not know is that 4 American patriots were killed that day. 4 Trump supporters were killed that day. Benjamin Phillips, Kevin Greason were killed around that time when those explosions started going off. Mm-hmm. And then Roseanne Boyland and Ashley Babbitt were killed later on. Ashley Babbitt was shot in the neck. Roseanne Boyland was trampled and beaten to death by police right in front of me. Me and around a dozen other guys tried to respond, and we all got put in a hole and forgotten about. Now I gotta set the stage here for a second. This crowd of people that showed up on January 6th, we had watched for decades this two-headed snake take more power every time there's a crisis, whether it's 9/11, they give us the Patriot Act, whether it's the financial crisis, they bail out the rich people, they leave the little people to still get foreclosed on and screwed. Every single time the government gets bigger, the budget gets more bloated, and we never get any more freedom back. We actually lose freedom every single year, and we're not able to get off that train, and there's no hope. We got one guy comes in, Trump, and he's helping us. And then they steal the election from him, and they do everything they can to take it from him. But, we had a year of COVID. I mean, COVID was like the Twilight Zone. I remember I was at an outside venue at Colonial Williamsburg. Thousands of people outside wearing masks. It was crazy. We're outside.
I was one of those bitches.
I did it for like 2 weeks, and then I realized they were freaking with us. But this is what the government does. This is what, government tends towards tyranny. And, if you read Common Sense by Thomas Paine, it was a book we had during the Revolution. Thomas Paine wrote Common Sense. It's a very short book. Everybody should read it. He talks about how a bloated bureaucratic government, is something to be, you want to be careful not to grow your government where it becomes unresponsive to the people. No matter who you elect into office, it doesn't matter. The politicians don't have any change in policy because the permanent bureaucracy is what's running things.
So wait, I want to go back. So you're there.
We've
and
got
you
all this pressure built up over decades.
No, but
over
you're
years.
at
now
the
we go to
event,
January 6th.
and you're there, and there's the cops,
and then the cops attack us.
People were killed.
I would have been ashamed of us at that point after all of that oppression and censorship and abuse. When we show up to peacefully protest a stolen election, we do what the Constitution told us to do, and then they shoot at us and blow us up. At that point, we threw our middle fingers up. I mean, it's.
And what happened?
And we broke the police line, and we climbed the building, and we tried to get in. Hell yeah!
And you climbed the building,
and I'm proud of it.
Okay, so you climbed the building, and where did you end up?
On the inaugural stage. My first instinct, actually, to be fair, was, wow, they broke the police line. I want to climb up there. I want to smoke weed where the president puts his hand on the Bible. That's why I wanted to go.
Not a terrible idea.
Yeah, I thought that would be kind of a historic thing to do.
So wait, hold on. You break the police line, and they were shooting you with rubber bullets, and they killed people in front of you.
Yeah.
But was this before you broke the police line or after?
2 people died before the police line was broke.
And you broke it.
And then 2 people were killed.
And
after.
then so then it became nuts.
So then it's just nuts because you're watching.
But why weren't they?
They weren't
pulling out real guns yet.
No, and that's the thing. It's a Second Amendment crowd, and nobody pulls their guns out.
But the cops didn't either.
No.
Did the bunch of protesters have guns on them?
I'm sure they did. It's a Second Amendment crowd. I wouldn't doubt it.
But how could you bring a gun? I guess there's no security to check them all. Okay. So a lot of people you think were strapped.
Of course.
Okay.
I mean, it's the Second Amendment crowd. This is.
So you wanted to go on stage, and what happened?
But the big point is that, an insurrection is what they call it. If it was a real insurrection, somebody would have used their gun. There would have been a coordinated effort. Why would the Proud Boys didn't have guns? I'll tell you that. None of the Proud Boys had guns. But
what did you do once you broke the police line?
So I climbed on the inaugural stage. I spent some time up there, and eventually I witnessed. I was standing by the hallway. There was a hallway on the inaugural stage they call the tunnel. So that's the inaugural stage. The official term for it in courts is the Lower West Terrace. So there's a tunnel. There's a hallway. The Lower West Terrace, the tunnel. And there was a group of fully geared cops with masks and everything like that, shields and the whole thing on one side. And then there's protesters on the other, and they're clashing in that hallway, pushing against, like a pushing back and forth, trying to get through. And so that's pretty much what's going on in the tunnel. But the cops are, the cops had been beating people with batons, hitting them in the heads, spraying people. People.
But it's chaos at this point.
Oh, it's chaos.
So where did you end up?
They say the riot is the voice of the unheard, and I'm telling you, when that bubble pops, when the people who've been, the boot has been like sitting on us for so long, and that bubble pops, it's on.
So what happened? So you were in the tunnel.
So I witnessed. They were spraying the crowd. A lot of people were screaming, "We can't breathe!" And I started to notice they were screaming that someone was dying, someone was being killed, someone was being killed. I kept hearing this, so I go up the steps, up the left side towards the hallway, and I see, I keep hearing it more distinctly. Help! We need help. There's someone dying. Their police are trampling a woman. They're killing a woman. Stuff like that. And as I come around the corner, I see bodies on the ground. I see unconscious bodies on the ground. I see cops stepping on people, beating people who are trying to pull those people off the ground, unconscious. And I just kind of leapt into action, and I grabbed a wooden walking stick, and I tried to, I used it on 2 officers, and I was charged with assault on an officer, given 51-month sentence.
Hold on. So you did that, then you got arrested.
I did that. They sprayed me, but the protesters were able to get her body after I stopped those 2 officers.
So this woman was killed. You were trying to help save her. She's being killed by being trampled and different things.
Yeah, no, there was an officer that actually hit her over the head several times while she was on the ground, bleeding. Yeah. But nobody talks about this because it's not on the side that the mainstream media wants,
This is terrible. I'm so sorry. So then
it's crazy to have seen it, have dealt with it, and then I get arrested pretty quick after, about a month later. But I never got to really deal with it, really think about it, and get through that kind of situation. Because when you watch someone being murdered and there's nothing, and she gets killed whether I intervened or not.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I didn't have that impact that I wanted to have. So she still died. Not having dealt with that. My father dies a couple months after I get arrested. So that was my best friend. So then I don't deal with that. And then, I got to tell you, it was years of solitary confinement and denied visitation. I didn't see my family or friends' faces for years. They didn't allow us.
So you were with the seditious five. What does the seditious five mean? What does that mean?
So we call them the seditious
So you
five.
got arrested and you were waiting to be trialed. And
Yeah.
so they called you one of the seditious five?
No. So we call
What are the seditious
So
five?
the Proud Boys, the 5 Proud Boys that were charged with seditious conspiracy: Enrique Tarrio, Joe Biggs, Ethan Nordine, Zachary Rill, and Dominic Pizzola. And they were given up to 22 years in prison. Enrique Tarrio, our chairman at the time, was not even in D.C. on January 6th. And he was given, and he was in like Baltimore, and he was given 22 years. They told him don't come into the city because he had burned a flag in December. So D.C. told him you can't come into the city because you burned a flag, a BLM flag at a rally a month ago. So he abided by their rule and was like, all right, well, I can't come in. He flew there to go to the rally, but they said you can't come to D.C. So he said, okay, well, he stayed out of D.C. And he ended up still getting 22 years in prison.
Okay.
For January 6th. He wasn't even there. And they were charged with seditious conspiracy. And if you knew, the 3 guys, Ethan, Joe,
what does the
and
word
Zach,
seditious mean?
Seditious is like against the government, like trying to overthrow the government.
Gotcha.
Sedition, basically, they accused them of being traitors.
Okay.
Of trying to take over the government. It was like a coup.
Cool.
Which is insane. They had no weapons. They had no plan. I got to tell you, Joe, Zach, and Ethan walked in the Capitol building peacefully for a few minutes and then walked back out. They had beers in their pockets. They were hungover from the night before, and they stopped at the food truck before they went in the building. This is what's crazy: is the very simple facts, the very simple facts of the case. If you're there to take over the most powerful government in the world, why don't you have guns? Why don't you have some kind of plan? And why would you stop to get tacos and sandwiches before you go in the Capitol building? You can't let...
So as this whole riot is happening, they stop at a food truck?
Well, yeah, I mean, people were walking... Yeah, well, they were accused of trying to take over the government.
But was the food...
But they're stopping at the food truck, exactly.
But if someone's being, this is horrific, murdered over here... You're telling me the food truck was still selling stuff over here?
Well, it's a huge building. It's a lot. I mean,
something's happening here. They didn't know it was happening.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But that spread very quickly.
Yeah.
So these guys stopped.
They stop at the food truck, and then they go in for a few minutes and come out, and then they end up with Joe.
They go in where?
To walk in an open door.
Once because it had been broken into.
Because the cops had opened those doors earlier. Like I said, the cops opened a lot of the doors on our side.
Because they knew that you guys were going. My question is, are you saying that the cops opened the door because they knew you guys were going to riot? Or are you saying that the cops opened the door and then it made you look like you guys riot and it was just opening?
Well, I think there was a mixture. I think there was mostly the cops opening the doors for the crowd. And then on one side of the building where they shot at us and blew us up, we rioted. But we only fought up against a very small portion of the building in that tunnel and on the inaugural stage and around that. The rest of the building, the cops pretty much opened the doors and let everyone in.
And you never went inside the building?
I didn't make it inside the building. I made it in the tunnel.
And you made it in the tunnel. You were fighting for this woman. You got arrested.
Yeah.
And so then you're detained. And then how long you detained before you found out what was going to happen to you?
Oh, man. I went years without even a bond hearing. That was one
so
thing
wait,
about...
don't you have to do a local thing? Don't they put you in a local prison before they give you
I went to a
local sentence?
Jail. So I went to... I went to a local jail when they first arrested me, but they got me to D.C. pretty quickly. They put a bunch of us in D.C., our own pod, but we were on solitary confinement, so we were in our cell 23 hours a day, up 24 hours a day. A lot of times we don't even get our hour of rec out a day, so we're spending 24 hours a day in our cell, no cellie, in there alone, but we have our own pod.
Do you have a bed?
Yeah, a bed with like a little cotton mattress.
Is it totally dark?
No, there's like a light.
Okay, so it's confinement, but not the whole.
I mean, it's the whole. Yeah, I mean, it's basically the whole. I mean,
Okay.
The only difference between that and the whole is when we do get our hour of rec out into a pod, they would do like 4 at a time. 4 of us at a time would get our hour of rec out. We wouldn't be shackled in the pod. I mean, in the hole, you would be shackled when you come out. But we would come out. We'd be able to use the phone, the microwave, the shower. That's your hour. You get 1 hour.
Do all that in the hour.
You got to do all that in the hour. You got to get your shower, use the phone. A lot of guys forgo the shower because you should bathe in the sink because you're more important to use the phone. You want to use the phone as many times as you can while you're out for your hour. But yeah, you know, get an hour. That was the first.
You get fed. You get fed, right?
Yeah. And there's also times. So the administration of the jail didn't like us very much because we were always like, you know, trying to fight the mistreatment that was going on with us. So we're having our lawyers, having our people.
So you're in there. When did you join the Proud Boys? Was it an official joining, or did you just get picked up by them?
Yeah. So I joined the Proud Boys as my personal middle finger during the torture, during the being put in a situation like I was, and knowing for a fact these guys, these good men, the Seditious Five, Enrique Tarrio and these fellows, they became my best friends. I mean, these guys are great men, great Americans, good patriots, and really everybody out there should really pay attention to what they say because they're so thoughtful and smart. Watching how the government was treating me was one thing because it was egregious, but watching the government treat these men even worse because they were basically saying that these great patriots were traitors.
What does the Proud Boys stand for? Are you? Let me ask you a question.
No.
Are you a racist?
No.
Are you a white nationalist?
No.
Are you a Nazi?
No.
Okay.
No.
Are you a Ku Klux Klan member?
No,
So-
those are Democrats.
So what are Pookie? That's how they started.
Yeah, it is.
So what is a Proud Boy?
So I am a Western chauvinist who
What does
refuses.
that mean?
A Western chauvinist means I'm extremely proud of the West.
Are we the West?
We're the West. Yeah,
The Western
America,
civilization?
Europe, yeah, Western civilization. We're extremely proud of the West. A Western chauvinist who refuses to apologize for creating the modern world. Look, we're unapologetic. It's a very simple club. It's a pro-Western patriotic men's drinking club. That's it. We
Drinking
love the
booze.
Constitution.
Okay, you love the Constitution.
Love the Constitution. We love freedom. If you look at Wikipedia, it'll say we're neo-Nazi white supremacists. I got to tell you, we love the Constitution. We love freedom. We love America. We love the West. And our chairman, Enrique Tarrio, our former chairman, Enrique Tarrio, is black. So
Okay,
we
he's
would be
black.
the worst white supremacists in the world if we had a black.
But I have a question. Do you have gay members?
I don't know. I don't ask them.
But you're not opposed to it.
We're not. I'm personally not opposed to gay people.
Okay. Do you have trans members?
I don't know of any.
Okay.
I know the Oath Keepers have transgender members.
Do you have Mexican members or other nationalities?
Oh
besides
yeah,
white people?
there's a lot of nationalities, man. No,
Asians?
yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So-
Asian, Mexican, a lot of Cubans, a lot of people from former communist and socialist countries, a lot of immigrants join the Proud Boys because they know what's coming.
So my question is, it is men, biological men.
It is a men's group.
Okay.
Yes. That's the only thing.
And question, it's many chapters all over America?
Oh yeah, all over the world. Yeah,
All
all
over the
over
world.
America, all over the world.
Okay, next question. For you to say this, wouldn't that be somebody that is that? To say, hey, I'm not racist. My mailman's black.
Yeah, but but the difference is I don't care what people think. I know who I am.
So you know what I'm saying.
I know
is
I'm not
the
racist.
people will say that you like. I mean, it sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Like on paper that you're not all these things and you have all the, but they will say, well, these people are just there to cover all of your racist agenda, to make you look not racist. It sounds like
Yeah,
you're
man,
not.
that's pretty crazy to elect a black chairman to prove that you're not racist.
I know. It's what's crazy is I have black people on the show who like Trump and they call them Uncle Tom, which is not right. It's just like
They
believes.
get to say all the racist things. Like they say black people can only think a certain way if it's Democrat.
That's racist.
They're not allowed to
That's
think
supressist.
outside exactly. So we believe. I mean, on our side, the common sense side, we believe any race of people is allowed to believe and have any opinions they want. You don't have to agree with me 100%. You know, all I don't like is the system. I want freedom.
So you would say that the Proud Boys are just an anarchy group that doesn't
No.
want to. Okay.
No.
Tell me what they
no
are.
Anarchy. No, we're pro-Western.
Actually, that's
pro-Constitution.
That was it. See how he checked me right there? That was good because anarchists would probably be Antifa.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're closer to that kind of thing.
So you're not anarchist. You
No.
want to be left
We
alone.
don't want to destroy the system at all. I love the Constitution.
Okay.
It is a beautiful document coming from the Enlightenment era where these men got together and formed a document that, I mean, the Bill of Rights alone, the first 10 amendments, I mean, the freedom of speech and religion and assembly and the right to bear arms. I mean, these different constitutional rights that we have that really, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. And it, you know, maximum freedom for maximum people. You know, I love Thomas Paine and Common Sense, that book. I mean, it really is, you know, there really is a beauty to what we've created here in the West. I don't want to destroy it. I would just want to restore it.
Would you say the West, meaning America, is the freest place in the world?
So far.
And you're saying, well, obviously there's an impending doom.
Yeah, go to London, man. They're screwing people over, man. They're losing their freedom of speech over there big time.
It's starting to get weird.
It's starting to get weird.
Okay.
And we almost had it here, but honestly, I do believe that the MAGA movement and Trump specifically are warding it off as best we can.
And you were sentenced originally how long?
51 months.
So more than 4 years. And what happened? So you're in there.
I spent almost 3 years in the D.C. jail and then almost a year in federal prison. But the first 2 years of the D.C. jail especially were lockdown, solitary, denied visitation. The day they came in and told us we could sign our families up for visitation was January 6th, 2023. Ooh. The anniversary, the second anniversary of January 6th, they come in and say, okay, you could sign your families up for visitation. It was a message. They were torturing us on purpose.
Harder bid than your first 10 years.
Oh, hell yeah.
Way harder.
Yes, it was way harder. But, you know, the difference is the first one was I did it alone.
Yeah.
You know, but this one, the one silver lining was that we were in a pod together. At least if we were in a cell by ourselves, next door and through the vent, we could talk to each other through the walls. So it was J6ers. We were patriots. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell your audience, you know, from day one, while we were in that pod in the DC jail, we called it the Patriot Pod. We sang the national anthem every single night from behind our steel doors. And if you know how hard it is to sing the national anthem, to sing any song from behind a steel door while 50 other guys are behind steel doors, you can't keep cadence, the tempo, everybody's tempo.
But this is a crazy story. So tell what happened. You sung it every night.
Every single night. Well, yeah. And then later on, about 1.5 years, 2 years in, we were asked to sing that song into a phone with a recording studio on the other side of the phone. And they said, we were told by Ed Henry from the media that it was going to be a celebrity mashup or something. So 20 of us at the time. By the way, in that pod, there was at any time there was between 15 to 50 of us in that pod at any given time. So at that time, 20 of us gather around the phone. We're called the J6 Prison Choir. That's what they kind of named us. Mm. And we sing the national anthem into the phone on the recording studio at the other side. Well, little did we know, we thought it was going to be a celebrity like Kid Rock or something like that. We had no idea that it was going to be President Trump that goes to a recording studio and says the Pledge of Allegiance, and they mashed it together. And then we went number one on Billboard Digital Download. It's called Justice for All is the name of the track. You could check it up on Spotify and stuff.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it went number one. And we beat out Miley Cyrus. Trump was like tweeting about how he beat Miley Cyrus.
Is that true?
Yeah, he plays it at every rally. Yeah. Miley Cyrus was out.
I thought he played Lee Greenwood.
No, he plays that too. Yeah.
And Village People.
But he plays the J6 Prison Choir for sure at every rally. Yeah.
That's crazy.
The first rally he played it at was Waco, Texas, and I remember that because it was Waco, you know.
But you weren't you guys didn't win a Grammy, but you were the number one Billboard download.
Billboard. We got Billboard awards and stuff. We're going to be presented with them. We're just waiting for it to happen.
You actually got an award?
Yeah. We're going to be presented to they're going to be presented to us at a gala, and we're going to schedule that and do the thing. But one of our J6ers, sadly, he's a Marine veteran. He died since we've been out because the jail mistreated his cancer treatments. But when he was buried at his funeral, Billboard released I've seen his Billboard award, and it's a legit thing. It's like a big ass thing.
Good for Billboard for honoring.
Yeah. Bart Shively, by the way. God bless you, Bart Shively.
God bless you, brother. So wait, so you're in there. So it sounds like you did your whole time.
Almost 3 years in the DC jail. Yeah, so 51 months, which means some off for good time. 85%.
Did you? So were you pardoned out, or you did your time?
I did my time. So I got out September 30th. Did my time.
Where was Viking Man?
He got moved to Alexandria from DC early on because he had a special shaman diet.
How did he get around that?
Well, he did time. He got 41 months. And what was crazy is he told his lawyer that he was escorted around the building by 2 Capitol Police officers. They were unlocking doors for him.
It seemed like they were.
And his lawyer said, you're lying. And the prosecutor said he broke in. And it was just like they lied. But then Tucker played the footage of him being escorted around the building by 2 Capitol Police officers, unlocking doors for him, bringing him to the Senate chamber and telling him to just don't break anything. Just, be careful because it's a sacred place. But like they allowed him to be there and do what he was doing. He went up on the dais where the vice president stands in the Senate, and he took his buffalo helmet off and he said a prayer for everyone. Everyone bowed their heads. They said a prayer. That's it. That's all that happened in there.
The argument though is that they went in. It's a B&E. It's breaking and entering.
But the Capitol Police were unlocking doors for him.
I agree.
Walking him around.
You have to. I agree. It looks like that, but I'm saying technically they're gonna call you on a B&E. But and then once you go into the offices, it's like, were you threatening to? Kill,
Then there's the offices, but then,
But the guy up there looked like he was laughing his face off. There wasn't any burning. Put his feet up on Pelosi's desk or whatever. It didn't look like there was any violence other than just to say an F you to the system.
Yeah,
but.
Which is American? Which is more American than apple pie? I mean, listen, come on. There's nothing.
My argument is,
George
if you
Washington
want
threw his middle finger.
My argument is, if you want change, you don't burn down a Foot Locker.
Yeah, exactly.
You go to the place where it is and go, hey, we're not happy. Now, if they thought you guys were going to harm them or kill them, I understand that.
The rage in the crowd during the BLM riots in 2020, BLM, Black Lives Matter, the organization we all know has defrauded millions of dollars. And it was founded by...
Is that proven? That's a fact?
Yeah, it was like $49 million. But Patrisse Cullors and the other 2 ladies who started it, they are avowed Marxists. They are communists. They're open about it. They're not secret.
What does a Marxist
mean? A Marxist is a communist.
What is communism, fascism, and Marxism?
Marx.
Educate me. We're on one level. It's easy.
Fascism and communism is a little different.
Socialism.
They're both authoritarian regimes, though.
But socialism basically means everybody's on the nipple, and capitalism goes away. Correct?
Yeah, there's laissez-faire capitalism, which is like extreme capitalism with no government intervention. I mean, we're a mixed economy. America is. America has our K through 12 education is like socialized education, but everything else is we got a lot
communism
of
is
capitalism in our society.
A dictator, correct?
Yeah, communism is an authoritarian regime, and fascism is authoritarian as well. I mean, it really doesn't matter how far you go right or left, you end up at authoritarian for different reasons, but controlling the means of production and stuff like that, communism. I mean...
Meaning you can't open a coffee shop, and if it takes off, and you start making $10,000 a day, and then you make $50,000, they're going to control you.
Yeah, you're basically, every business is not owned by the business owner.
By the
you're
government.
You're running a government business. Yeah,
Got it.
Everybody's renting from the government.
Because you hear this shit, no one breaks it down simply.
No personal property.
No personal property.
Yeah. Go to China, man. You know what I mean? It's the kind of thing, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you making money in China, you're working for the government.
So all this stuff is happening. You rep these guys every day. You wear their shirt. And I was saying, why? And you said, because they pardoned you.
Yeah, Donald Trump gave me a presidential pardon.
So what does this mean?
So when I get out, I have 3 years of probation or whatever.
Plus the other 10.
Yeah, well, so here's the thing. So my federal sentence was 51 months, then 3 years of probation and $22,000 in fines or whatever.
Jeez.
So when I was
hit you with the money too.
Yeah. So I get out September 30th.
Can you pay that off and little by little?
I got pardoned, so it's all gone.
Okay, but normally would you have to pay it off?
I know. I'd have to monthly installments and stuff like that. You get on a payment plan. Like,
crazy.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Time, probation, and a fucking fine.
$22,000 fine.
That's crazy.
For what? Because I climbed on the inaugural stage.
But I would have took the fine Or the probe? You got all three.
Yeah, I got all three.
You
man.
were plugged up. So go ahead. This is crazy.
So I get out September 30th. About a month later, my place is raided. I'm staying with my friend, and he's got security cameras all over his property. And he notices people trying to break into his house. I wasn't there that night, but he notices people trying to break into his house. And he gets up in his boxers and he has his gun. He pulls his gun out. He goes out. He's like, holy shit. Because he knows, like, different groups and things. I might, he knows that, he doesn't want anybody breaking into his house. So he goes out and the cops identify themselves after he yells to them. And then he puts the gun down and he goes out and he's like, what the hell? Well, they were there to get me. The 2008 charge that I received 10 years for, I was off probation years before January 6th. Well, apparently there was this little footnote, this little fine print in my sentencing back in 2008 that was good behavior for life. So I served 4 years for January 6th. I get out for a month, and Virginia's trying to give me 10 more years. So I had to get locked up, spent two weeks in the jail till I got bonded out, and right through election. And then when I get pardoned on January 20th, it takes about a month or two after that, Virginia drop there because it's a violation. And if I got pardoned and it's gone, there's no violation. So it went away.
When did you get pardoned and how did you get
January
pardoned?
20th. On Trump's
And so
first
what did
day.
Trump say?
Well,
He pardoned who?
he pardoned about 1,500 of us.
And how many were there? What if you were 1,501?
Well, I mean, like, he pardoned
Did he
everybody
pardon
by
all of
name.
them?
Yeah, everybody by name. Yeah. All our name. Like, I have a presidential pardon, yeah.
Do you have a plaque and stuff?
I will get it plaqued and stuff.
And
yeah.
what does the pardon say and what does it do?
Well, it's just it completely absolves me of all the of the charge. It never happened, and
So you're pardoned.
completely pardoned. Like I'm
But
not
you did time.
Yeah, so that is also that is something that will be remedied in the future.
Oh, are you saying what I think you're saying?
Well, I mean, like, I have a lawsuit into the government for mistreating me and putting me in solitary confinement for years of my life and torturing me.
And so, but are you off? There's no probation, or is that still over
For
your
the
head?
federal stuff, no, that's completely done. Federal stuff is like it never happened, except the PTSD from all the torture.
So I know you need therapy. Is Enrique pardoned, and all these guys are pardoned?
Enrique got pardoned, but the other seditious 5 did not get pardoned. They got commuted. They got released from prison, where they were doing 18 years, 17 years, 15 years, but they got commuted.
And that means what?
That means they still have a felony, but Trump, let them out of prison. He ended their sentence, but they still have a felony.
And what? Why
So
didn't
pardon? I don't have a felony for.
Why didn't they get pardoned?
We don't know. My theory is that I feel like Trump wants to wait to have that discussion about the seditious conspiracy on his time, because it's so ridiculously false. It's such a lie that the mainstream media and mainstream America needs to be aware before in my opinion, before he signs their full pardons. I feel like it's important for America to know that it was a lie, that they did not try to take over the government. No, there was no insurrection. It's all a lie. It was much more simple and reasonable than people realize what happened that day. I mean, if you watch grandma getting hit in the head and they start blowing up a peaceful crowd, you could expect people to freak out. But that's not how they frame it when they talk about it. They call it an insurrection, like it was a planned event where people were trying to take over the government. And that's ridiculous, because by that logic, the Buffalo guy would be our president, because he made it to the secret chamber and got to capture the flag, made it to the thing.
The Buffalo guy.
The Buffalo guy is our president, right?
Where is the Buffalo guy?
I don't know. I think he lives in Arizona. Or
He's not a Proud Boy.
Jacob Chansley. No, he's not a Proud Boy. No.
Now, are you still a Proud Boy?
Absolutely. Yeah. Uhuru.
You got to stop throwing that up. People are going to say you're racist.
Well, I don't care what they say.
racist.
I'm not. So they can say whatever they
But
want.
am I in trouble for having you on?
No, probably.
For what? What did I do? I just want to use this platform to find out what truth are
What's crazy is that
and ask questions.
what happened to Charlie Kirk, it's crazy to me that AOC or Ilhan Omar or these different politicians or anybody on the TV, they want to get up and say Charlie Kirk was a racist or a hateful or anything. It's so crazy because I followed him. You know, I really, really liked him. He never, ever said anything hateful. He never said anything racist. He kicked a white supremacist out of one of his events because he got up on the mic and started trying to say stuff, and he would kick them out. Like, Charlie Kirk was such a good man, a man that I wish I could live up to the kind of ethics and moral values that he had. Because I'm a wild man. I have fun. I party. I smoke some weed. I kick back. But like, he was much more tight and family oriented.
Oh,
I wish I could.
I
look up to that guy.
He lived life. I knew nothing about him other than he was like a political guy.
He's a really good person.
And he looked like a guy that was a clean liver. Yeah. And he just said, have some values. You know, I don't even, he was Christian. He wanted Christian stuff. But he was just like, have some values. I will push back on something, though, because I defend him. And they made me a Charlie Kirk stan because once I saw someone get fucking killed and the horrificness of his murder, and then the demons dancing, it messed me up so bad. Yeah. And I was like, I'm surrounded by these people I never knew. Demonic. Yeah. I will say, though, I don't think he was a racist, but people give words more power than blood shooting out of your neck. I'm thinking of a person right now that would dance on his grave who I'm supposed to be friendly with this person. And I'm like, because of words. He did say, though, and you tell me this, he talked about Lizzo's statue. And Lizzo got a statue. And he said, we used to give statues to patriots and warriors, and now we give a statue to this slob. Now, so some people are going to say that,
but you're allowed to have your opinion.
He had his opinion. He didn't. I don't remember him saying anything about her being black or a woman. He just said it was a slob. Now, I don't know Lizzo. I like her music. I think she's very talented and
a talented musician.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know her. I would love to have her on a pod. I'd love to talk to her. Yeah. But I don't think calling someone a slob, and she seems like she lost weight, but by the way, she was fine the way she was.
Just because someone is a morbidly obese, but also a good artist, you could still acknowledge their art and also acknowledge that they're morbidly obese.
Okay, well, I don't think she's morbidly obese. She was a little heavy, but what I'm saying is that people, because he said this about the statue, there's this whole video going on of people that are so glad that he was murdered because of what he said, and that's insane to me. A comment about something doesn't deserve that, and that's what is psycho, and that's what sets me off. It's like, they're just words, man. Okay, maybe didn't like them, but...
What about when
he basically tried to open up thing to debate and talk? He talked to black people, he talked to white people, he talked to trans people, he talked to this, and he just tried. And
he was always respectful of everyone.
He wasn't like whitey. It's all whitey. It was like, yo, you're black. Let's talk about it. I mean, he was friends with Candace Owen. The last time I checked, she's black. She's a woman. It's like, so I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And it makes me crazy that people go crazy over words.
They try to simplify things into oppressor and oppressed, and try to always put people in a box that this person is on this side, so they're a racist, they're a Nazi, they're a this. He was wearing a shirt that said freedom. He stood for freedom of speech, debate. He encouraged debate and thought and critical thinking. The left, the communists, they don't want you critically thinking about issues.
But you're not a fan of the left, and you're not really a fan of the right. I align with myself with the right more now because they seem like they have a better sense of humor.
Yeah.
Better looking women.
Yeah, way better looking.
And just like what you said to me last night when I was sitting there having a cup of coffee, and fucking, I don't want to say, but one rock legend was over here and another rock legend was over here. I'm not going to name names where we were, but it was a crazy thing that we were at. And you told me this, and it hit me so good. You go, bro, remember when fucking it was fuck the man and punk rock, and we are fucking against the system, and now being like a clean liver, believing in God, taking care of your property, paying your taxes.
That's rock and roll now.
Now that is like...
That's rock and roll.
Which is crazy. So it's like something that was considered square, and it's so... it's so rallied against being not square. Just like, hey man, love who you love, live your life, pay your taxes, just don't fuck with me, bro.
Exactly.
But like, use common fucking sense,
Just
bro.
leave
It's
me
like,
alone.
yeah,
I'll leave you alone. You leave me
me
alone.
alone. But like, hey man, you're whatever race you are, fine. Whatever sexuality you are, fine. But leave me alone. Don't jam your shit down my throat.
Exactly.
And the fact that we don't agree with everything, the fact that you question this shit,
It's so weird.
we're rock and roll.
We're rock
which
and
is
roll.
crazy.
There's nothing more rock and roll
Charlie
than a middle
Kirk
finger.
was more punk rock.
Fucking right. Yeah. There's nothing more rock and roll than a middle finger to the system.
Yeah.
And there's no bigger middle finger to the system than Donald Trump.
Why
and the MAGA
why are
movement.
these fucking fake pseudo intellectuals, politically correct people, why are they so rigid now? Why can't they just here's what it is with these hardcore people, these liberals.
Yeah.
I don't think they can ever take an L. They can never take one loss and
It's
go.
the Trump derangement syndrome. They've been locked in with it. It's so weird that they're locked into the matrix. The system has told them Orange Man bad, and anything he does. When he said, when RFK come out and said there's a possible link between Tylenol if you're a pregnant mother and autism for your kid, like there's a possible link. And then women are like going to the hospital taking Tylenol, like overdosing on Tylenol, just because the Trump administration said it's possible that there's an autism link. They do exactly the opposite. They have Trump derangement syndrome.
They're kind of like you with the middle finger, but self-harm is involved.
But
you
they're
throw
doing
the
it-
middle finger up
but
to not be
they're
told
doing it
what
for
to
the
do.
system. It's like I remember I used to love the Foo Fighters, man, and I love their music. But like during
I did
COVID,
too, man.
during COVID, they were doing vaccine passports to go to their concert. There's nothing. If there's nothing more rock and roll than a middle finger to the system, the opposite of that is jabbing yourself in the fucking arm and just jab ourselves.
It was
with
actually bullshit because
experimental vaccine.
what it was pro-system. It was anti-rock.
for the
It was
machine.
anti-rock and roll. It was
Anti-rock and roll.
It was reaching for the machine because all those guys, these rock stars that did that, and I think rock stars proved that the cucks that they are.
Yeah, cucks.
Because they wanted to open up the doors and say, have a good time. No, they wanted to make all this money. People were all moneyed up from the fucking people paying them fake money. And they wanted to go out. They were going to collect money. And they wanted to say, we're having freedom. But these guys were living free anyway. And encouraged people to come so they could get them through the gates to make the money.
Yeah.
And so it was like, it wasn't for freedom. It was to get out there and make us more money.
Profit, for
it's
clout.
100%.
Well, you know, the Democrat Party, they try to play the rock and roll card for so long. They were the ever since Bill Clinton picked up that saxophone and did his thing, they've had kind of a monopoly on cool and they've
Exactly. But you're so not cool.
They're so not cool now. They're so not
They're
cool.
so not
They overplayed their hand.
cool.
Yep.
They're nerds that are disenfranchised.
Yeah.
And it's because
They kicked God out of the equation.
Yeah.
They kicked God out of the
they
equation.
could just common goodness.
Yep. And then common sense went out
And
the window.
lies. You cannot say you're an empathetic person and dance on someone's grave.
They say they're the party of tolerance.
They're so nice.
They're so intolerant.
And it's like, I'm not a right winger, but you
exactly.
push me to this side. And it's like, if you can go like this, if there's bread, if there's rye bread and there's wheat bread,
Yeah.
and you say, I'm going to eat rye, what they do is they automatically say, so you support wheat. And you're
Yeah.
like, maybe I don't want any bread.
No.
It's like, they really don't understand. It's like, dude, you're 14-year deep bid, and you've been nothing but respectful to me. Sat in a very high-end spot last night with tons of people around. Please, thank you, shaking fucking hands. We had to control your chick, who's a little wilder. I'm like, girl, she never even done fucking a parking ticket. I'm like, you're wilder than my man here. I'm like, chill the fuck out. And so
She's fun.
and it's like, but what I'm saying is, it's bullshit. All this
Yeah.
shit is bullshit. These labels, they want to label you this,
Yes.
they want to label you that,
Yes.
and it's like,
When
and
people realize
to
that-
your truth, by the way, I'm gonna say my truth. It's so crazy. You wore this shirt last night at a very part
Yeah. I
of
wore the blue one yesterday. Yeah.
in WeHo. We went to this place, and I met him there. And I didn't even think twice about it. And quite frankly, the restaurant said not one word. You didn't get a fucking dirty look.
No, I wear my MAGA stuff there all the time.
Bro. And a few of the
Everywhere I
people that
go.
worked there are black, and they were like hugging you.
Yeah.
I mean, not that there's a ton of black people that support Trump. What I'm saying is,
absolutely.
I didn't think twice of it until we were leaving. Like, oh, fuck, you got the shirt. Like, I didn't
Nicki
really.
Minaj just came out for Trump. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, the media will say that this is a whatever, and bottom line is this: it's bullshit because I watched you in Hollywood walk around.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna say is that I know why this shit is happening. You said all the correct reasons. I believe some people are hypnotized. There's actual movement of a demonology movement.
Yep.
And they've got all these people fucking MK Ultra, real MK Ultra, and they're puppets for this shit. That's what I really believe, and a lot of people don't realize that the spell they are under, and more are under the spell than not. So someone like me who is shouting, and it's like, this is not a fucking potato, it's a banana, and they're like, if they only raised to think that that's a potato, I'm crazy. They think I'm crazy, and it's like, no, man, I've been poked too many times, and I pulled that shit out of my fucking head from the Matrix, and I'm Keanu in the pod, and I'm going, whoa. They literally can't peel the curtain back. And it happened to me in 2021 where you want to say I was red-pilled, where I was attacked for crazy shit, and I didn't say nothing, and I started questioning it, and then I started questioning the whole system, and I'm like, nah, fuck this system, because they create animals like me, and I don't want to be an animal.
Now I travel the country. I speak to groups of people. I do want. There is part of me that wants to be left alone. Yes, but there is this kind of a calling that I've been pulled into.
And what is that?
Whereas spreading the word, man, spreading the truth, making sure that people are aware of what happened to American citizens by our own government, so that it doesn't happen again.
And are you working with a prison reform group, or do you have your own group?
Yeah, I'm working on some of my own things in my own way. There are several groups that I work in tandem with, but no, I'm right now I'm speaking to groups around the country. I've got several projects going on. I'm writing a book, of course, but I've got some TV, some film projects going on, some things that are I don't want to speak about right now, but are interesting.
But
and,
are talking about your
we need to shine a light on J6ers' lives, not just J6ers, but even the people who are smeared as the worst terrorists, the worst insurrectionists in the world, are actually the good guys. And I'm telling you, we need to shine a light on these men, on us, because the American people need to see the difference, the actual like dichotomy of what they said we are and what we truly are. Like, it is really all lies. And I hope that there's enough rock and roll spirit in the American people that you not only want to watch this interview, but also, check out my website, wearegoodmen.com. Like, keep an eye out on some of the projects that I've got coming out and really pay attention, because it's really going to be very enlightening, and it's going to show you, the terrorists that the system, the Matrix told you were terrorists, are actually the good patriots that really care about freedom.
And there was a lot of veterans in J6. So a lot of men veterans, and women.
A lot of family men and
who
business owners.
Fought for our country.
Every single, hundreds and hundreds of riots 6 months before that in the summer of 2020, Democrat riots all over the country. And I mean, how many people went to prison for that the way that we did? I mean, how many people were tortured for years like we were for that? They actually would be arrested and then released, and then their charges would be dismissed. And they would even be charged with like a misdemeanor. Like, when they stormed the White House, the Democrats stormed the White House in the summer of 2020, they burned St. John's Church down, forced President Trump, the executive branch, into a bunker.
Is that true? They stormed the White House?
Yeah, they injured over 100 federal officers.
I never even heard this.
Yeah, they stormed the White House. They ended up closing Lafayette Park after that. They burned St. John's Church down, and they forced President Trump into a bunker. Injured over 100 federal officers. For one example, a guy smacked a cop in the head with a skateboard and got a Democrat and got charged with misdemeanor assault on an officer. But then he was released a day later, or whatever, a few hours later, and the charge was ultimately dropped anyway. He never went to court for it. Take that on the flip side with January 6th. One of my friends, Sean, he had a bullhorn. there was a bike rack, and there was a police officer on the other side of the bike rack. He's yelling, whatever he's yelling, freedom, blah, blah, blah. He's yelling as a protest is what you do. He grabs the bike rack with one hand, shakes it, and then lets go and backs up. That's all. He just shook it and backed up. Because the cop had his hand on that same bike rack, Sean gets charged with a felony assault on an officer with a dangerous or deadly weapon because he shook a bike rack that the cop was holding. That's the kind of stuff that was overcharged with us. I mean, every single way they could have screwed us, they screwed us. Everything was a felony. They had us all to the max and put us in solitary confinement for years. I will not say that enough times. Solitary confinement for years of your life, for years of my life. Denied visitation. I couldn't see my family's faces for years. Just that alone, screw the, I always point out one man in Russia, his name was Alexei Navalny. He was opposition to Putin. Putin put him in prison and denied him visitation. So he was in solitary confinement, denied visitation while we were locked up. And we see in the news, mainstream media, CNN, everybody's blowing their top about one man in Russia being held in solitary confinement and denied visitation. But we'd been held there for years, and nobody was squawking about us. CNN wasn't saying anything about the hundreds of American citizens that were going through the same thing in America. They wanted to scream and cry about one guy in Russia. God bless him. God bless Alexei Navalny, but it was one guy across the world. We're hundreds of us in America going through that, and they just completely ignore us. So they have no, the U.S. government has no, moral standing to tell any other country that they can't torture their citizens because they fucking tortured us, man. They tortured us. I mean, they made it as bad as possible. The guards literally thought we were white supremacist neo-Nazis when we are freedom-loving, God-fearing Americans.
Thank you for telling your story. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. God bless you, man.
God bless you, brother. Thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming and sharing your story. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram.
Just say your website.
Yeah, wearegoodmen.com. And Instagram at Patriot Wildman.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone's talking, they're blockers. That's not why I came to Hollywood. Fucking backwards. Bullshit.
I hate to break it to you.